You know you did it. You know you did. If you are a Star Wars fan, I know that you wondered how did they get the plans to the Death Star. You wondered and you hoped against hope that someday they would make a movie where they would show how they got the plans to the Death Star, and then you would go into the very first Star Wars movie we ever saw. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, gives us that answer. It takes us to a galaxy far, far away. And it shows us what it took to get to the point where we first discovered Star Wars. I loved this movie. It really brought into focus and defined what made Star Wars what it is as a movie. I also love the fact that in this film, they took a departure from what Hollywood would want a film to be, because with the luxury of being a part of the Star Wars franchise, they don't have to make the film what Hollywood would want. They're making the film what Star Wars fans would want and what the Star Wars universe demands. Because we all know the story. We all know the story that the plans for the Death Star were stolen. Now we get to see the crew who made that happen. And you had to know it would not be easy. It would be hard. It would be brutal. And it would be deadly. And this film delivers on all of those levels. When you go into this film, you already know what's going to happen. But the way in which they executed it is astounding. It is astounding. I want to see this movie 1,000,000 times. Why do I want to see it 1,000,000 times? I want to see it 1,000,000 times so that when I see it that 1,000,001st time, I'll want to watch it 1,000,000 more. And that's just how I feel about this film. As I sat there at the end of it, I was in tears. I was in tears because Carrie Fisher passed away. And Debbie Reynolds passed away the day after. And then I went to see Rogue One, and my emotions overtook me at the end of that film. It was an emotional moment for me, and I think for anyone else who hasn't seen Rogue One, who sees it now, the ending of that film will be an emotional moment for a lot of different reasons. But in terms of cinematography, excellent. In terms of CGI, excellent. In terms of acting, excellent. In terms of characterization, excellent. In terms of Darth Vader, You know, going into this film, every moment where Darth Vader appears on screen is magical. Everything with Vader works. You don't need a lot of Vader to make a Star Wars film work. But you do need Vader. And Rogue One delivers that. I've got to say that if I were to put together a list of my favorite films of 2016, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, would be in the top 3. This film is amazing. And anyone who says anything less than that, they missed the whole point of the film. Yes, this film followed exactly the path it should have taken to get to the Star Wars film we know and love. It took a direct path. It followed that path. And then there were some surprises in this film that just made me smile. There are surprises in this film that will make you smile, and that's a good thing. So, if you have any trepidation about seeing Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, if you think maybe it's not going to be good, I've got to tell you that the music, the acting, the special effects, everything in this film is top notch. Will you be surprised? Yes, you will be surprised. Will it follow every beat that you expect? Yes, it will. And even with it following every beat that you would expect, you will still be surprised at moments in this film. And at this point, if you have not seen the film, by the end of the film, you will be in tears. Now, I watched a few non-spoiler reviews where they talked about, the characterization, the characters. I really didn't know them well enough to care. And, it was like, they died, who cares? Well, I'm here to say I felt every death in this film because it's like, what I loved about this film is that it made me feel like I was a part of that team. And I think that had to do with me seeing the film in IMAX. I saw the film in IMAX because that was the only way I could see it if I was going to see it. And I felt like I was a part of the team. So when one of the characters took one for the team, I was right there. I was like glued and wishing I was there to be able to help, to pull them away, to return fire, to make no mistake about it. If you go to see Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, you are going to see a war. And in this film, Darth Vader is a warrior. There's no two ways about that. This is the Darth Vader we wanted to see, and we got to see a warrior. You know, I will agree, a little bit of Darth Vader goes a long way, and it really helps the story. And I disagree that if you took Darth Vader out, the movie would be better. I disagree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. I think that Darth Vader needed to be in this movie. Without him, you couldn't make that cohesive fit with A New Hope. This movie cohesively fits with A New Hope. Kudos to everyone involved with the planning, the production, and the delivery of a movie that is now among the pantheon of Star Wars and is one of my favorite films of all time. There is nothing about this movie that any true Star Wars fan could look at and say, I don't like it. Come on. There's nothing about this film that will make that will upset or piss off any true Star Wars fan. Because true Star Wars fans will look at this film and say, yes. 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 There are a lot of yes moments in this film, and I did not have one single no moment. Not one. And that is a record, because trust me, with films that I watch, I have a lot of no moments. And I'm going to tell you that if you are a Star Wars fan and you go to watch Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, you will have very few to no, as a none, no moments. No moments. That doesn't work, but I'm going to leave it in because that's how I feel. You won't have, if you are a true Star Wars fan, you're going to love this film. You're going to watch it multiple times, and you're going to tell your friends to watch it, because this film brings back the magic of the original Star Wars film. I said it. I'm standing on that rock, and I'm going to stand on that rock, and I will defend it against all attackers. This film brings back the magic of the first Star Wars film and supports it and drives us into that story. And it gives us answers and things that we wanted all our lives as Star Wars fans. As far as ratings go, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, is 10 out of 10 with a bonus, because it really delivers. When I watched the first trailer for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, it built an anticipation and it built an expectation. And my fear was they would not meet that expectation. I was pretty sure they would, but there was a fear that they would not. And my final verdict is they met, and exceeded my expectation that was established by the trailer. And this is a must-see film for any Star Wars fan, which I count myself as one. Now, IMAX. Seeing this film in IMAX is totally unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. I saw it in IMAX because that was the only way I could see it. But do you need to see it in IMAX? Absolutely not. I think that's why they gave out this absolutely fantastic Rogue One, A Star Wars Story IMAX poster. I got the poster and I love it, and I think it really speaks to the whole film. So, I love it. I love the movie, and you have to go and see Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, if you are in fact a Star Wars fan. And those are my random and not so random thoughts about Rogue One, A Star Wars Story.